This is a song, the song of the sea. Here on the sand, the world is just for me. Splashing and spraying and singing along. This is our home, the sea and its song.
Hello everybody and welcome back. It's the final video in our adventure with Nelson and finding all about his dangerous dive. So, like last time, before we hear the story for the final time, Aisling is going to take us through our warm-ups as a little reminder.
Thanks, Amanda. Hello again. Right, so we're going to go through our warm-up and our song and our little soundscapes of the creatures, okay? So, I'm going to say the warm-up through once, and then the second time round, if you could join me, that would be great, okay? Up like a great big humpback whale, down, down, down to find the ocean trail. Swim, 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 splish, splash, splosh. Hello world, look, I am free. Up like a great big humpback whale, down, down, down to find the ocean trail. Swim, 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 splish, splash, splosh. Hello world, look, I am free. Very good, okay? And now we have the song. And again, I'm going to get my starting note. No. You ready? So I'll sing it through once and then you join me the second time round, okay? My name is Nelson and I'm a humpback whale. I swim around the world, swishing my big tail. Swish, swish, look fish, fish. Now up to say hello to the world. My name is Nelson and I'm a humpback whale. I swim around the world, swishing my big tail. Swish, swish, look fish, fish. Now up to say hello to the world. Excellent. Well done, boys and girls. So now we need to remember our crabs. So there was our crab group. They were over that side of the room last time. And the seahorses were over this side of the room the last time. So the seahorses had a lovely melody, remember, in solfa. So now I need to remember what it was. I remember what it was, okay? So we have do, do, ti, la, so. Do, do, ti, la, so. Do, 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 re, re, do. Okay, boys and girls, in the seahorses group, join me now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do, do, ti, la, so. Do, do, ti, la, so. Do, 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 re, re, do. Excellent, well done. Remember that, yeah? So now the crab group, all those boys and girls in the crab group, we had stamp, stamp, stamp. Clap, 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 knee, 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 stamp, stamp, stamp. Clap, clap, stamp, stamp. Clap, clap, clap. Me, 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 stamp, stamp, stamp. Join me. Stamp, stamp, stamp. Clap, clap, stamp, stamp. Clap, clap, clap. Me, 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 stamp, stamp, stamp. Excellent. So when you're stamping, can you go like stamp, stamp, stamp? Okay? Excellent. So when we get to that part of the story, Amanda's going to be leading the crabs and I'm going to be helping with the seahorses. Okay, so we'll see you then.
So here we are, boys and girls, Nelson's Dangerous Dive by Ellie Jackson and Laura Colwood. Mayday, mayday, mayday. We need help quickly. Our boat is sinking in the storm. The crew knew their old fishing boat was in urgent danger, but calmly waited for the rescue teams and helicopter to locate their emergency beacon and save them. As the crew were winched to safety, they looked down and saw the heavy fishing nets pulling the back of the boat down into the crashing waves. As the bow of the boat started to rise up, the long nets began to unravel, slowly dragging the boat underwater where it settled on the rocky seabed below. Over many years, nature began to reclaim the boat, turning it into a magnificent reef which was home to many different types of sea creatures. Brightly coloured corals of all shapes and sizes grew along the rails and over the decks. Smooth gliding sharks circled the wreck, chasing the fast-swimming fish that darted around the wheelhouse, whilst crabs, lobsters, rays and octopus all found a home amongst the corals. One day, a curious young whale called Nelson spied the wreck looming out of the sandy depths below. Astonished to see such a strange and colourful sight, he took a huge breath and with a flick of his impressive tail dived deep into the shadows to see what treasures he could find. Ready, steady, off we go. My name is Nelson and I'm a humpback whale. I swim round the world, swishing my big tail. Swish, swish, look fish, fish, and up to say hello to the world. Deeper and deeper Nelson dived as the colours around him gradually faded. Once his eyes grew accustomed to the gloom, he could see the hulk of the boat appearing beneath him, the fishing nets trailing far behind in the swirling currents, looking like waving beds of seaweed. Nelson began to explore the wreck when out of the corner of his eye he saw something flash past in the darkness. As he turned to investigate, his huge tail stretched out behind him and was captured in the nets, bringing his whole body to a shuddering stop. Thrashing about and getting more entangled with every movement, Nelson had to use all of his determination to try to break free of the terrible ropes and nets made of plastic which bound him to the wreck. Nelson used his huge strength to try to power through the water, and the whole creek started shifting around on the seabed as he desperately tried to escape. Suddenly, with a loud snap, the rusty chains holding the ropes broke free, and he found himself floating sluggishly upwards. Nelson was now almost completely entwined in the net, floating up in a slow spirals until he reached the surface, finally breathing huge lungfuls of fresh air. Lying still and resting on the surface, Nelson managed to find enough strength to raise his tail and slap it down hard on the water, frantically trying to signal his need for help. Splash, splash, splash! The tremendous sound each tail slap created was quickly noticed by a nearby boat of tourists, who cautiously motored closer to see what the commotion was. They saw Nelson's enormous and powerful body wrapped in heavy green fishing nets and utterly powerless to free himself. He urgently needed help if he was to survive, and yet how could they help such a giant animal without risking their own lives? Bravely, the people decided they had to help. Using their boat knives, they cut away the nets, one strand at a time. As each rope fell away, Nelson felt the pressure around his body start to ease, and he had to fight the urge to swim away, knowing he still needed their help. Leaning dangerously over the edge of the boat, surrounded by nets, and at the mercy of the powerful whale, the people had a huge task ahead of them. The giant nets were so tightly wound around Nelson's body, the knives seemed to barely make a dent in their work. Yet slowly and surely the nets became looser until finally only his enormous tail remained tangled. Nelson's long fins were now released, and realizing he could swim, he started to head further out to sea, pulling the boat behind him. His rescuers were in extreme danger now, should Nelson decide to dive. They had no choice but to be towed by him as he swam on. Before tiring at last, he finally stopped. Quickly now, aware of the danger they were still in, the people excitedly cut the few remaining strands of the net from around his tail, and Nelson was at last completely free. As he disappeared quickly out of sight beneath them, the tourists celebrated their incredible encounter with this beautiful creature. Suddenly, a huge shape powered up from beneath the water as Nelson burst out of the sea into the most spectacular breach. Great big splashes of glistening water cascaded down around him as his magnificent body rejoiced in its freedom. Time and again, he dived down to swim quickly up and out of the sea in a towering spray of seawater as he showed off his powerful tail and flippers for all to see. Up like a great big humpback whale, down, down, down to find the ocean trail. Swim, 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 splish, splash, splosh. Hello world, look, I am free! As Nelson swam away for the last time, the people hauled the rest of the heavy fishing net safely aboard the boat. The captain knew that if the net was left in the water, it would trap even more animals like Nelson. She thought there could be more nets down on the wreck and called the local expert diving group for help to clear them. The team of divers arrived quickly, carrying out safety checks and surveys to work out the best way to remove the remaining nets. Fishing boats have many ropes and nets made from different types of plastic, and the wreck still had several large nets tangled around it. The divers were all highly trained to remove these nets, as it is a very, very dangerous underwater work. Using special equipment and knives, the divers cut away at the nets, sending them carefully up to the surface to be pulled into the waiting boat. Every piece of rope or net they removed would save many turtles, dolphins, seals, whales, fish, octopus, crabs, seahorses, and lobsters from becoming trapped over the years. And the divers felt very pleased knowing how important their work was. As the last of the nets were brought up to the dive boat and the divers were starting to head for home, they heard an almighty splash just behind them. Looking around quickly, they saw Nelson slapping his enormous tail once more, happily leaping out of the sea with his new friend in a spectacular and rare double breach. He was finally free of the nets that had been lost at sea, free to breach and dive, to swim and explore once again. My name is Nelson and I'm a humpback whale. I swim round the world, swishing my big tail. Swish, swish, look fish, fish, now up to say hello to the world. My name is Nelson and I'm a humpback whale. I swim round the world, swishing my big tail. Swish, swish, look fish, fish, now up to say hello to the world.
This is our song, the song of the sea.